Welcome to Monkey See,
Monkey Review.
where this week we're going to be covering What If Zombies.
So if you guys haven't watched that episode, please go watch it. We'll come back and talk about it because spoilers will commence now.
Now, everybody gets eaten. So, dude, like this was a very, last week we had a very dark episode with the Sorcerer Supreme. And this week, they're just like, hey, watch this, and took it to a whole another level of intensity and darkness. And wow,
It was crazy.
great episode.
Yeah,
But wow.
crazy.
Yeah. This is one of the rare occasions where we actually got to watch it together and with some of our friends and family, and we were just like, oh my, oh wow.
It's like they went there.
Yeah.
They definitely went there.
Wow.
I even talked to some more friends of mine this weekend, and they were like, I liked the first two episodes. The last two episodes were really dark.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little shocked that they did that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm okay with them going dark, but man, did they go dark fast? And I think the biggest reason it's so dark to us and because it's so, like, overpowering is because we haven't seen that in the Marvel MCU at all.
No.
We haven't seen that with anything so far. So I think this is them just getting it out of their system by doing this in the What If universe.
Or it could be a sign of what's to come.
Well,
Some future stories.
yeah, it's true. We know we got Multiverse of Madness coming up, and they said that was going to be the first real attempt at a horror film in the MCU. And I think they kind of went back and softened it up a little bit, but still, it's going to be pretty dark.
Yeah.
So this episode, I mean, if the title alone don't tell you what's going on, this episode is where we start at the beginning, where Infinity Wars picked up.
We're sending Hulk back to
Yep.
Earth to warn the Avengers, and
Yeah, and
nobody's there.
So instead of this time him falling through the skylight and through the stairs and him like, oh, Thanos is coming, and Wong and Doctor Strange are there. Nobody's there except Cloak. And Hulk is just like transforming back into Bruce Banner. He's just like, I've got to warn people. And he's like, I need clothes. So he goes outside, and instead of like everybody running for their lives, there is no one there on the streets whatsoever. It's rather intense.
Yeah.
Rather eerily intense. And then we have the children of Thanos show up.
Doing
And-
their whole spill.
Yeah, do their whole spiel like word for word from what we had in Infinity War, which I loved how many times they had that almost identical moment.
From
yes.
the movies, yeah, and
Yes.
it's one of the episodes, yeah.
So it was really cool. But as Ebony Maw is delivering his lines about the children of Thanos, a portal opens behind his head. And you see Iron Man's little repulsor just pop out and just
Headshot.
blast him in the head, knocking him to the ground. And Bruce is like, yeah, they're here. Then Wong, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man walk out of a portal. And he's like, yeah, but you can't see them. They're all silhouetted. And he's like, guys, I think that's a little extreme.
Yeah, straight up murdering people.
Like for real, just ripping Ebony Maw and the other guy, the other alien, I get to pieces. It's like, wow. And it also shows you right there how fast the virus acts too, because immediately they were both transformed into zombies.
Yep. Yeah.
So that was intense. Then you see them starting to look like dusting, but what it is Hope Van Dyne has come through as the Wasp and brought in a army of wasp and ants and other insects, and they're devouring the zombies. That is the only thing that saves the Hulk right there. And then Spider-Man comes swooping in, snatches him up. And he's like, it's just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He's like, would you look at the neighborhood? The little one-liner quips that they have in this episode. Spider-Man had a lot of great lines in this episode.
Yeah, he was pretty much the main character.
Yeah.
I thought like they followed his lead through the whole
Yeah, like,
thing.
after he comes in on the scene, like he really becomes like the character you follow, the one that you're like, okay, this is the hero. Everybody else is kind of just like making it, but he's like the one that you're like, okay,
He's inspiring people still doing the Avengers thing.
Yep, still being the upbeat hero that he is.
Yep.
So, anyways, moving on, we'll find out there's a small handful of people who have survived. We've got Bucky Barnes. We've got the gentleman from Ant-Man who worked at XCon, the security company. He's the Slavic one. And then we have Spider-Man, of course. Hope Van Dyne.
Happy.
Happy Hogan. Blam, blam, blam. Which is like his whole phrase for this whole episode.
Yep.
And then I can't remember her name, the Dora Milaje lady.
The general.
Yes, plays Michonne in The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Can't remember her name. Wow. Okay, just total blank there. I apologize. Find out that they've picked up a signal. They're like, okay, let's go to this signal.
'Cause she's looking for.
She's looking for T'Challa.
Yeah.
She's looking for King T'Challa, the Black Panther, because they got called in. They called in the Avengers to help put down the zombie outbreak in San Francisco.
Yeah. So the zombie outbreak started because of Hank Pym,
Right?
right? Going to find Hope's mother
In the quantum realm.
in the quantum realm. Well, she caught a disease there. Basically becomes a zombie, infects Hank. He comes back and starts infecting the world. They send the Avengers in to stop the outbreak.
Yep.
And then why the outbreak spread so quickly is because all the Avengers
Yep. I
got
mean,
infected.
they.
Right?
I mean, Captain America got infected almost immediately after exiting the Quinjet.
Hank Pym again.
Yes, Hank Pym shrunk down, bit him on the neck, and like he just slaps it, thinks it's a mosquito, and you actually get to zoom in and it's like, oh, look, he just got bit.
Yep.
This is about to go bad real quick. So, so picking up, they're like, okay, well, let's go to New Jersey. They get a signal. It's from the base that they were used in Captain America. Yes, thank you. So,
Birthplace of S.H.I.E.L.D.
yeah, so they get there. Well, of course, they've got to go through a big ordeal to get there. It's the journey. They use a train. They get attacked by zombie Falcon and zombie
Captain America.
Captain America. Seems like it was the third one. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but it was. So, anyways, they essentially make their way to most of the way to New Jersey.
Yep. And then Hope gets
She gets
Infected.
But before she turns, she actually helps them make it the rest of the way. She grows into the giant woman and carries them the rest of the way so that they don't have to walk through the zombie hordes. Sets them down behind the gate, and you think, okay, they're behind the fence at the military base. So, okay, cool, they're safe. And then they turn around, and there's a giant piece of the fence missing.
and the
But
zombies aren't moving at all.
yeah, they're just lined up waiting to walk in, but they won't. Come to find out, who's been sending the signal the entire time was the Vision.
That's right.
So that was a real interesting twist. Like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's a good, twist to the story.
Yep.
So once Hope puts them down behind the fence, she falls over and the zombies just overrun her.
Yep.
But again, because of we find out the Mind Stone in Vision's forehead is giving off a frequency that they do not like, so they're staying away. Which I like that. I thought that was a really interesting, twist.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that we've not seen or heard of anything along those lines. Of course, we've never had a zombie outbreak, but as far as like giving off a frequency that repels certain viruses or anything like that, it's very strange.
Yeah.
So they go in, and we find out that Vision has T'Challa there.
Well, we also, before we find that out, so we find out that Vision has figured out a way to cure people who have been infected.
Yes.
So we find Ant-Man,
The
his head,
just the head
in a jar.
Futurama style
Yes.
in a jar, making the best jokes.
yes, I'm doing it again. I can't help myself. So then, they're trying to figure out what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then Bucky goes looking
For
other survivors and things like that inside the lab. And then Vision makes the statement, you will not find what you're looking for, basically. And then we find T'Challa
we find T'Challa laying there, missing a leg.
missing a leg.
And come to find out, Vision has a zombie imprisoned there, and it turns out to be his love, the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff.
So
and
he's
she
been-
is zombified.
Luring people in to feed them to her to keep her alive.
Yes.
Because you see T'Challa with the Avengers in Chicago, right?
San Francisco.
In San Francisco. So he's there with them, and like, all right, well, so what happened to him? Everyone else got infected, but him, right? It's probably because of his suit.
Right.
So we find him now. He's got his leg chopped off, and he tells, hey, Vision's evil. We gotta get up out of here.
Yep.
He chopped off my leg and fed it to Wanda.
Yep. So that's messed up. Like that is like one of the moments. Like,
so now we see two sides to the coin for Wanda and Vision's love.
Yes.
Where Wanda's gone all out to bring Vision back, and now Vision's trying to do the same thing.
Exactly.
And they even asked him, well, why didn't you just cure her? She's too powerful.
Because of her hex magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't do anything, so I'm just trying to keep her alive because I can't lose her.
Yes. Which I love that. I love that parallel between that and what we saw Wanda do in WandaVision.
Yeah.
Where she essentially brought him back from the dead.
Yeah.
And just recreated him out of her pain and her grief. And man, it was beautiful.
So we see the android that's supposed to be completely good do
Yes.
something utterly evil
Yes.
for love.
Yeah. So you can't sit there and say that there's not more to him than just, neuron circuits and, computer chips.
Now, he comes around quickly.
He does. He
realizes his errors at that point.
Yeah.
But Wanda wakes up and just...
Yeah, Bucky actually makes the mistake of firing a bullet at her, and it cracks the glass.
Yeah.
And then she uses her powers to go ahead and fully break it. And Vision's like, okay, so we made a mistake. The only way I can make this right is by giving you the Mind Stone. So he plucks the Mind Stone out of his own forehead, gives it to him, and there's T'Challa's like, the only place left in the world that is safe is going to be Wakanda.
Yep.
And they all take offline to Wakanda. Like, we're condensing the story way, way down. There's so many more details to it. Like, we could go on for hours about the details. But go watch the episode.
So
they're on their way, flying the Quinjet. Hope Van Dyne, zombified, reaches up, grabs them out of the air. Of course, they're able to break away. Then she picks up a little smaller zombie and just throws it at them. Just
awesome.
hits the plane. Boop,
Just
boop,
dink.
boop.
Like, who was that? Not just some random person.
Exactly. It was just that was the good thing about this episode. It was so dark, but they had those moments where it was just like, what was that?
Yeah.
Just to lighten it up. Then we get this, great little speech talking about, that there's still hope out there, that Wakanda is the last free republic that has not been infected by the zombies, and that's the over words.
Overall arcing
Yes.
point of the whole story is that humanity is still going to band together to try to save the day no matter what, even if we lose Earth's mightiest heroes. Ones that are still left are still going to come in and save the day.
Yep.
In which they are attempting to do, right?
And they have the Mind Stone now, so they hopefully are going to be able to figure out a way to cure the entire population. But then you get the scene of the wall around Wakanda.
Nothing but zombies.
Nothing but zombies. And at first you're just like, is that inside or outside? I've got a bad feeling that's inside.
Yeah.
And it comes to find out it is inside. Then you go in a little bit further, and you see the Dora Milaje zombified. You see the Rhinoceros tribe people. They're zombified. And then you look up and you see zombified Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. And 5 out of the 6 stones, he's waiting for the Mind Stone to come to him.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the way that episode ends, man. Woo.
Yeah, so no closure whatsoever
closure.
in this episode.
They're petitioning. People are like begging for a season 2.
Yeah.
And I really think that if we get a season 2, this will be one of the episodes we get a sequel to.
I hope so.
I
It was
hope
good.
so. I hope so, because of the fact that there's so much more, and especially if we're going to bring in the cosmic universe in the MCU, this would be a great episode to start bringing in Thor and Rocket, Groot, and all them, because they're not technically human. I don't think that the zombie bite's going to affect them exactly the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But we will see, because it's going to be very interesting. So
Yeah, because, it affected Thanos.
yeah, it did affect Thanos, but you see that they still have some kind of cognitive ability, because he's waiting for the last stone to come to him.
Yeah.
He's still going to do something. Now, what's he going to do? Life has been, pretty much obliterated. Is he's going to recreate life to continue to, feed their hunger? Which in the comic books, they did a story called Marvel Zombies, and it wasn't a zombie virus. It was called a hunger, and they were just and if you were a zombie and you actually consumed flesh, you would go from being just a zombie, mindless, hunting, killing, to having your own humanity back.
Interesting.
So even though like you have Spider-Man and all the heroes who are zombified in the comic and they're dead, they're still trying to find a way to cure the hunger so that they can help restore the earth.
Yeah.
But this episode was very similar in those regards, as they still had a higher brain function to remember something, to go after something, but they did not have that same personality.
Yeah, because all the characters had their same abilities and powers still.
Yeah.
So, it was interesting.
It was a great episode. Very dark. I'm really surprised because they released this in September, when we're filming this. I'm really surprised they did not hold it out towards the end of September or the 1st of October. That way it would be in the whole Halloween season.
It's just beginning this. I mean, because they've progressively gotten darker and darker with each episode, so that may just be the trend for this season with What If. And it's just leading up to a big finale of just straight craziness. Yeah.
Because we know we've got what, 4 more episodes to go, and if this is just any indication of just how crazy they can get with this episode. First 2 episodes, great, feel good, made me really happy. These last few has just been like, man, like I need a hug.
It's definitely been What If.
I mean, like we're really pushing the limits of what they can accomplish and bring in.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah.
Very, very well worth watching.
So what would you rate it?
My rating for this one, I'm going to give it a 3.9. Just below a 4, because, I mean, if you don't like dark, it's not going to. And I really am not a dark episode kind of a guy. I love the concept. I thought it was a really out-of-the-box episode. But it was too dark for me. If I can't watch it with my family, sometimes I just don't enjoy them. I won't watch them as many times.
Yeah.
So 3.9 for me on that one out of 5. What about you? Where are you?
I'll probably get a 4.
Give it a solid 4.
I like dark though.
Yeah.
I like the intriguing storylines and a little bit darker storylines. Well, I'm a big fan of DC stuff.
Yeah.
If they do it right.
Yeah.
It's a little bit darker, a little bit more of a twist to it. So I liked it. I'm enjoying it. Marvel in general hasn't had a whole lot of that. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do with it, if it does trend into a little bit darker season with this, and what that's going to lead into for the future of the MCU.
Yeah, but one of the big takeaways for me is just, even though how dark it was, because it was a very dark, very heavy story, how much life they still had because of Peter Parker talking about, and this is the first mention in the MCU of Uncle Ben. He talks about his how Aunt May told him after his uncle died. He's like, you've got to live. You got to still look for the light. You got to look for the good things in life, which is the first in any of the MCU projects that we've heard of Uncle Ben. So I was very happy to see that.
Yeah, which they've been basically trying to stay away too much from it, I think, just because we've seen it before, we've done it before,
We've seen it twice.
But now, I mean, I think they're really pushing Spider-Man to be a big headliner in the next phase of the MCU. I mean, everything's going towards Spider-Man.
As long as Sony plays ball, I think Sony and Disney both. I could see Spider-Man having a long future. In the MCU, because I mean, he's the youngest actor too. So I think him and the young lady who plays Shuri in Black Panther, I think they're both around the same age. So I think he has a long, bright future with the MCU as long as they can keep working out deals and contracts.
Which I don't foresee that being an issue for Sony if they're making millions off of it. And especially if it leads into their own Spider-Verse that they're trying to do, and they can play off of it as well. So I foresee that being a long journey.
It's going to be a great. I'm excited to see where it goes. But this episode was fantastic because of those continual moments where he brought joy and happiness. And not just him, but even we saw Happy Hogan having his moments, Bucky having his moments, where everybody's just like, no, we're going to stay positive, we're going to stay upbeat, we're going to keep trying. Him and the whole conversation between him and Hope, talking about there's always going to be hope.
Yep.
So, great episode.
It was fun.
It was absolutely fun. Any other takeaways?
That's it.
All right, man. So I tell you what, do us a favor. Hit that like.
Subscribe.
And share it with a friend. Leave some comments. Let's talk about it. Tell me your favorite part of this episode.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite? Who do you want to see them bring in? If they do give us a sequel, what superhero do you want to see them zombify?
Yeah.
Tell us down in the comments. And guess what? We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.